right, Mijo, get in here.
What the f*** do you want?
Huggie, come on, get in.
All right, I'm here.
All right, check it out.
Shh. This stays in this room, it doesn't leave these doors. Close that shit and let's get to the report. There's nothing that we don't ignore. No. Yep, refresh the page to get the contrast. Check this out on the road or in a bubble bath. Take your brain down a weird path. This stays in this room podcast.
This guy's horseback, and he's not the devil. That's just Clay playing with his buttons. Why you only got one horn right there?
That's two.
No, you had one. That's you, broken horn, Clay.
Broken horn.
Broken horn, Clay. Sorry, dude. The devil took one of my horns because he said it looked too much like him. Really do.
What's up, guys? It's been a minute.
Yeah.
We've been fucking swamped at work,
Yeah.
to say the least. I think all of us.
It feels like a bummer.
What does?
Being swamped.
Dude, it does.
Dude, yeah.
It's not.
'Cause you just added a new show.
I did.
That's being a pain in a way.
Yeah, I mean, the first couple days were a pain.
Growing pains.
Growing
Yeah.
pains, dude. Hashtag Alessia Cara.
Hashtag what's up?
Hashtag
What's
Robin
up?
Thicke's dad. Hashtag Kirkpatrick. Or what is his name?
Robin
Kirk
Thicke's
Cameron.
dad.
Yeah, dude. Robin Thicke's dad was in Growing Pains.
Alan Thicke.
Alan Thicke, dog.
He's dead now.
I don't know anything about that.
What?
I don't know anything about
He's
that.
from Oklahoma. They were watching like Alf.
Alf is before my time.
Harry and the Hendersons.
There's no way, because I watched Alf as a kid
Yeah, you're older than I am.
by 2 years.
Yeah, Alf was not my.
What was
I
your
was-
jam then when you were a kid?
Doug, Hey Arnold,
Bum fights or whatever.
World Star Bum Fights.
No, that was just walking outside for him.
I was walking outside.
That's how you grew up.
Bum Fights.
But yeah, I mean, we like doing this podcast, and it's just been it's been a struggle because like it's Thursday. We're doing it on Thursdays now.
we had to switch up our day.
Because Fridays are just our busiest day because we're planning for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So
Yeah. So now they're going to be dropping on.
Friday. I mean, we still drop it Friday afternoon.
I think we drop them today,
Okay.
Thursday.
Yeah, just drop it today, preparing for Friday, you know.
Yeah.
Drop
Little
podcast will drop Thursdays. Video will drop Friday.
or
Man,
Saturday.
that's pressure.
Yeah.
That's pressure.
Pressure.
All I do is come in here and talk
Pressure.
and retweet. So
Hey. So yesterday was Mental Health Awareness Day.
Yes.
And I feel like that's a good topic to talk about because in a lot of areas and in a lot of places, it's kind of taboo to talk about. In the fact, like, growing up, you know, you just hear, well, like, I've experienced, like, you know, you can talk about being like, oh, my elbow hurts, or, oh, I got a scraped knee, like, physical pain. Like, that's all good and fine. People will acknowledge that. But talking about, like, mental pain, it's just like, oh, you know, oh, you need a nap, or you need, like, you just need to chill, calm down, you know?
The thing with like mental pain, like physical pain is tangible. Like you could feel it, you know where it's hurting.
You can show people.
But like
look, my finger's broken.
Yes, but with like your brain, it's an emotion that, and like there's chemicals that are off, and it's just so much stronger to deal with. And when someone says like suck it up,
Yeah,
like,
suck
I
it
don't
up.
know how. Like I don't know what's going on. Like a broken finger, like this bone is not attached to this bone, or this ligament is tore. Like they just suck it up, or like just
Quit being a bitch.
yeah,
quit being
just
a
be
pussy.
happy.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't fucking know what's wrong.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this numerous times, and you know, yesterday being World Mental Health Day, we were revisiting it.
Yeah. And I feel like for me, like a daily struggle is anxiety. And I feel like anxiety is like one of the more common like ones, like because everyone on a certain level, whether it's really high, really bad, where you're having an anxiety attack,
Whether you're homeless or Jeff Bezos, or
yeah, you experience anxiety.
you deal with it.
And for me, I found like a key is to like channel it in a positive way. You have to like, when you start feeling anxiety, you have to channel it and say, okay, what's causing this? This is what I do. I find out what's causing it, try my best to think, you know, can I control this? If not, I try my very best to push it out, acknowledge that the way that I'm feeling, acknowledge that it's okay. It's just trying to like dive inside your brain and know why you're feeling it. And if you can do something about it, you do something about it. If you can't, try to push it out. I mean, I don't have the answer. Like, obviously, I'm not a therapist.
Yeah.
But
You're not?
no,
I'm talking to you about my feelings forever.
I'm not a licensed
Or just like
therapist.
I guess channel it like you said in a positive way. So like one thing with you, I live with you. I spend the most time with you right now on the whole planet. Is like you use it as motivation for the gym. And if that's, or whether it's yoga or it's meditation, like if there's some way you could take that like energy that's frustrating you or like use it. Like Huggie, you've been doing boxing on and off for the last month.
Which is expensive, by the way.
It is.
Went back.
But it
because
feels
it's
great.
expensive.
Like
Yeah,
every
it
time
does.
you've come in after, because you do it early in the mornings, like I see a glow on you because it's like you're channeling it out in a way that is not normal, rather than sulking or like trying to like just run laps in your brain. Just like let that energy out.
It's an interesting thing too that you bring it up because I was my parents' firstborn kid, you know, like to be born and to have an artistic mentality with your family that, you know, isn't as artistic as you. Like, how do you explain to them your feelings, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I had ever since I can remember, man, like trying to talk to my parents about how I was feeling was a really, really tough. It was really tough for me to do because I feel things differently than a lot of people, you know, especially my parents who are, one's a blue collar worker and grew up with a crazy mom, but he didn't know what that meant. You know, she could have had, she probably still does have some chemical imbalances. She hates the shit out of me, you know, like growing up seeing that and trying to express your feelings to two parents that don't understand what you're going through is a tough thing, you know. It almost broke my heart there for a little bit because I didn't want to admit that I had something, you know, a chemical imbalance. But dude, there's times where I'll be sitting at home and I'll just break down, you know, cry for no reason. And it was tough growing up because talking to somebody, like I said, that doesn't understand, it's hard to explain it. You can't really explain anxiety.
There aren't words. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like there's no words because, well, for me anyway, it's like you don't even, like, you just know that like you have these emotions coming out. Like I break down all the time too. Like I'll cry in the shower. I'll cry like in bed, like before I go to sleep, and I don't even know why. I'm just like, I feel like it's like you go through it like as a teenager growing up, and it gets chalked up as, oh, puberty, you know,
yeah,
your brain's changed.
yeah.
But like at 28 years old, it's like you still have these feelings, and you're like, what the hell, you know, why haven't I grown out of this? Yeah. And like you were saying, it's kind of the ego in me like doesn't want to admit, you know, like there's something up, you know. And I've never like talked to anyone professionally, but I experienced the same thing you. It's like you can't really talk or like trying to explain to your parents, you know, like I could never have that conversation with my dad, you know. And it's not because like my dad and I aren't close. It's just I don't think he would like understand like what I'm actually trying to say. And with my mom, I feel like she would empathize and like she would try her best, but it's not, I know that there's not like that connection. You know, like everyone feels sadness, everyone feels anxiety, everyone feels, you know, everyone has these things, but to know that it's like a constant, like you've had this like same like experience, the same thought, like growing up your whole life, and you're like, you start to, it's like, is there something wrong? Like, am I flawed? That's like where it comes in, like not wanting to like admit, you know, like that there's maybe like an imbalance.
It's the worst when somebody else tells you that, man, you got some issues, and you're like, well, fuck you. Because like, I don't want somebody else to tell me like, you know, that was the hardest thing for me because I did go to therapy for a little bit, and especially when I've been out here in Portland, where 3 to 7 months out of the time it's just gonna be shitty and gloomy. And you're not gonna have any sunlight, and you know it. Like you got to prepare yourself for that. You know, coming in first from Boise, Idaho. Even Boise though, dude, they had those inversions, and there was 3 months out of the year where it's just a cloud over the top of this city, you know, and the only way you can get sunlight is to go up to the mountain just to see the sun for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It really, really, I didn't expect that. When somebody told me it was an inversion, get ready for the inversion. I'm like,
what?
This sounds fucking crazy, but Dude, it really fucking took I've never wanted to fight more people than I have in my life than when the first inversion.
It's just like
We need the sun.
but it's also just toxic because it's just like a low pressure cloud and it like pushes all the car fumes down, like you can't escape.
Oh shit.
So it's just like all around bad. Like people die from it because like CO2 can't escape.
That's a normal thing in Boise? Is it
Boise,
only
Salt Lake. It happens a lot in valleys.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, 'cause
Like when
it's
you see like
we're-
pictures of Yosemite when there's a cloud but there's a valley, that's a low pressure system pushing everything down.
Weird.
That's a little.
It's an even weirder feeling than here because at least you still got open skies. We're not in a valley,
Yeah.
but out there that shit ain't going anywhere because it's the cycle of how things go, and because we're in such a lull, it just sits right there on top of it until it's
Wow.
summer.
But it's a weird
It's
thing.
like in the cartoon, like the rain cloud that follows you.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, it was following you, dude.
I also like think like it's generational, like because now we can discuss these things but like
I don't think that the feelings are generational. I think that
How
now
you
that
do-
we can acknowledge it and like talk about
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
because
That's-
think about back in the day.
Back
when
in the day
people-
that, like-
people were like, "Oh shit, dude, you're a witch.
yeah,
You're fucking
But
crazy.
Even,
You're a witch."
but even then,
dude.
like
we're gonna hang you.
We're gonna
you
kill
know, people have these issues and they're like, "Suck it up," and we still use those terms, like "suck it
Yeah.
up," or another term that's like it's kind of strange because like talking about it as a man, but like toxic masculinity, like you're a bitch. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, why can I have these feelings like that? I'm just sad, you know.
Yeah.
It's like you're a man, like you're supposed to be better than that.
That's why I feel like it's tough to talk to your parents about
Yeah.
these things because they were right on the end of it, you know,
Mhm.
right on the end of, okay, you're a bitch because you're talking about this shit. And you still get people like that, but I feel like it was harder to talk to my parents because it wasn't as accepted to have some type of, you know, disorder like that, or it's not even a disorder. I think it's a beautiful thing,
Mhm.
but to explain that to somebody that, you know, they frowned upon it so much, it's tough to explain it to them, you know.
Mhm.
Hey man, I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm angry. Like, yeah, my parents experienced those feelings and just chalked it under, yep, you're sad.
Yeah.
You know?
You're growing up.
Yeah, you're
you know?
growing up.
Yeah, you're turning
Hey,
into a man.
You're 15, you know, your girlfriend broke up with you, get over it. Like
Yeah.
the get over it aspect of it is like, well, fuck you, get over it. Like there's something more to just getting over it. You know, there's a reason why this is happening. There's a reason why I feel so strongly about this situation and I can't explain it. You know, like help me try to explain it. And that's where I struggled so much, where, you know, talking to them is just was a difficult aspect. It's still a tough aspect to it. So seek help, man. Honestly,
Yeah.
an unbiased opinion. Like I love talking to you dudes. It's fucking great, but you're my homies.
It's not that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're either gonna tell me what I want to hear or agree with me, you know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
or disagree with me, and then I'm gonna tell you to fuck off because
Mhm.
you're my homies. Seeking out that one person
That's completely
that's
unbiased.
completely unbiased from an outsider's perspective to tell you and break down that situation and either tell you it's okay or you fucked up.
Mhm.
You know, that was the biggest. I only needed it for a little bit because that was also expensive, much like boxing.
Yeah.
But
That's the thing, man. It's
you need
Well,
some
did you get
questions
it covered
answered.
through your insurance?
Well, the dude that I was going to is a young guy, and it was covered by our health insurance until United Healthcare stopped doing it at Zoom Care. So they don't cover mental health at this specific location
Mhm.
for some fucking reason, which I think is bullshit. But
Mhm.
so I'd have to pay like $200 out of my pocket.
But United Healthcare also like has people within their programs. Like if you go online, you could like find a doctor.
And dude, I went to 3 dudes. Okay,
Mhm.
the first dude was an asshole. He was just a young dude. It wasn't gonna work out. You know, the second person was a lady. I just didn't feel comfortable talking about my feelings. And the third guy was only half-hour sessions, so I can knock out some shit in a half hour.
Mhm.
But it's like finding a new friend, dude. All right, I'm not gonna fuck with you. I'm not gonna tell you about my feelings. So I don't feel comfortable around you. You know,
Mhm.
it's a relationship. You know,
Mhm.
it's tough to find. You know, you can
Yeah.
go. And that's the thing too, is like when I was really fucking sad out here, for some fucking reason, I was so fucking just, I hated my life, wanted to end it. Standing, just facing my facts that I didn't want to be on this universe anymore. It took so long to get to meet just the fucking guy, the consultation, that a month had went by. And dude, the guy was an asshole. So I was already contemplating like, dude,
Yeah.
fuck this. I'm going to kill myself. Like, this is
Yeah.
not why did I have to wait so long for a guy to tell me maybe that we'd be a good fit together?
Yeah.
Don't tell me don't make me wait like that. That's fucking that's the flawed in everybody has such a mental health issue out here that it takes so long to figure out when you can get in to talk to you about your
I
mental
was about to
issues.
say that. I was a couple months back. I was like looking for someone, and I was like calling, and nobody was answering the phones. And I was like, finally, I left a voicemail on some lady because I was like, she had like 5 stars, and I was like, people like her. I was like, hey, like I need to talk to someone. Like, can I come in? Like, I really need to talk to someone. They're like, oh, we're booked out for like 3 weeks, like just for a consultation. I'm like,
that takes like,
and I was like,
such
what?
of, like that takes.
She's like, but I could like refer you to someone else. They might have time. I'm like,
They might have time.
I'm like,
I understand.
I
it's
fucking
like,
hate that.
It's a business. It's a business.
Yeah.
But that takes out, so much of like the what's the word? Like emotion, not emotion. It takes like the whole
It's like
key part
it's
out
like pulling
of
the
it.
rug out of your feet.
Yeah,
You're just like, I'm here. I'm in front of you, and then it's like swoop.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's
man,
like,
like,
they can't talk to you until they evaluate you.
Mhm.
So even the first time you want to go in there and talk to this motherfucker about whatever you're feeling at that moment, 3 weeks later, you're only going in for a fucking consultation. Now, coming from a person that has had 3 consultations, 2 being right on the edge of me just fucking getting rid of my whole entire life, like that is a negative aspect to the talking to a therapist. You know, like, fuck. What do you mean? So I'm not coming in to talk to you about these things right now. I'm coming in to let you judge me on
See if you can handle my load.
See if you can to see if I can handle it or they can handle it. And I think that's bullshit, dude. Let me come in and just fucking talk to you. That's what you're trained for.
Yeah.
Don't console me and think, well, I wouldn't relate to this kid, so I couldn't help him in any way. If you can't help me in any way, tell me right up front. Yo, dude, I got this problem. I'm 28 years old. I'm a fucking radio personality with these traits. You know, like don't fucking put me down on a piece of paper and just send me off to the fucking wolves. 'Cause that's the scariest part is now I'm rejected by another person. You know, this old fucking guy that I went in all the way out in Beaverton. It took me 2 weeks to get in to fucking see him just to get consoled. I felt worse after talking to that asshole than I did going into the situation. I felt worse. I'll let you know if this is gonna work out between us. Well, fuck you. You just wasted an hour of my time to
what
tell
are you
me
doing?
that we might be
You're
able to
making
talk.
me feel worse.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that makes it feel like not genuine.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like a key part. That was the word I was looking for earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like growing, like even throughout college, I couldn't cause like what we said, like therapists are fucking expensive. Like I knew I couldn't afford it. I didn't want to like ask my mom to like front my money to like go see a therapist because she's like already helping me with college and shit. So I like got online and found like these few like not message boards, but it's literally just like an instant online. There's people there, just normal people. Like we could log on and be like a consultant or whatever, and you literally just talk to some random person. They could give you shit advice. They could give you good advice. And I found myself on there a lot, just typing out, being like, here, I just need to talk to someone about this because I can't talk to anybody about it. Like, you don't even have to respond. Just let me know that you understand what I'm going through, you know? And that was like a way that I had to
or they
deal
don't,
with it.
and they can give you a different situation. Like that's the thing. I find myself talking to myself quite often about it now about things, stupid shit, friends doing drugs, me doing drugs, stupid shit like that, like, or music, or if this is, you know, I want somebody to instantly be able to tell me if it's a good idea or if it's a bad idea, wrong path or right path. Like, and I think there needs to be more of those type of things, you know, because we're always on our fucking phones.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we come up with something where it's just a fucking message, a text message thing, man? Like, you good today? Type of shit. Like, and don't get me wrong, I love when you guys do that, and I love that we can talk about that shit. But dude, like I said, you always need an unbiased opinion. You can only convince yourself that you're a good person until you're a shitty person. You know, I say this all the time, dude. Dude, I say it because it's true. Like, how many times you gonna fuck up until you're okay with it, and you just keep fucking up and keep fucking up and keep fucking up, and then you realize, shit, I'm a fucking shitty person. And you can't realize that yourself. You got to realize that with the help of others. And that was the problem with the generations prior, was they weren't reaching out for help. They always could think that they could do it by themselves, you know, which you think about the mob. The mob took care of it by themselves. If they didn't, somebody else would take care of it, and then they would take care of you. It's fucking, it was a backward society back then, and it carried over to generations. And now we're all too fucking sensitive to talk about our feelings, but we need somebody in our lives. Well, dude, I'm shaking talking about this because I don't talk about mental health often, and I don't talk about, and I should, but it's scary to think that your brain might be dirty and you might have you might have something wrong, and it's scary to think that those feelings it's scary to think that you're alone having those feelings, and I really think that's wrong with society, man. And you know, I love that song that Logic did, the 1-800 song, but where's he at talking about it now? You know,
Yeah.
What the fuck is you? That's great, Logic. I think you're dope. Like, but you ain't on no campaigns about mental health. I've met you in person. You didn't talk about any mental health shit. I've watched a lot of fucking interviews with you, and you did it for as long as your song was there, man.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, if you want to be the advocate, if you want to be the face of that bullshit, you better be there for some people. And I'm sure he has. But at the same time, like, dude, I don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't see you fucking pumping that shit anymore.
Because I had that same thought when that song was just like really huge. I was like, okay, this dude is gonna like, he's stepping up. He's gonna be like the face of mental health. But like you said, no videos.
Yeah, where's it now?
Like now that the song's gone.
It was a big thing when you fucking dropped that song, but man,
and not to like
dude,
discredit, like the song, it was a great thing.
Great thing.
It was spiking calls.
At the time he set the tone for what people should be talking about.
Yeah.
You know, but
I
he ain't
also
talking
think
about
like part of the problem is we live in such a social media world, and comparing ourselves to everybody is so much easier nowadays. And before, your circle was 20 miles around you.
Mm-hmm.
Now I could see who's traveling the world, and you know, and then we expect Logic to like be the face of this thing. But I mean, you're absolutely right, but he also could be doing things behind the scenes that we don't know. And,
very true, very true.
And I mean, it's fair to say like we need you to speak up more, but actions speak louder than words. Like Colin Kaepernick, he's doing things rather than talking about it.
Yeah.
Like Kanye,
you can only talk about it so much.
Yeah.
Right.
You just got to put your money and your work where your mouth is.
Exactly.
So,
Well, the point of this, I really hope somebody listens to this and takes something from it. You can reach out to any one of us too.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
if we don't know you, if we do know you, like we're here as well, and I'm more than happy to give you my unbiased opinion.
absolutely.
So the most important thing that I want you to take away from this podcast is talk to somebody.
Talk to somebody.
Talk to
and
somebody.
I have to touch on something like me dealing like personally. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of people do know this that are close to me, but not to like the full extent.
You have a kid?
But no,
Oh.
I hope not. Dealing with mental health, you know, if you grow up in a situation like that where you know something's wrong, but you can't talk to anyone, a lot of people turn to drugs and alcohol. And that's definitely something that I did at like a young age. And I don't even think I knew that I was like self-medicating. I was just doing it because I knew that I was sad. And when I did this, it made me happy. And I was like, dope, I want to stay happy. So it turns into an issue, and you have to be very, very careful with that because it's a slippery slope. And addiction, you know, you'll turn around because no one starts out doing any drugs or alcohol saying, I can't wait to become an addict. You start doing it because it's fun or because you're trying to escape something, even if you don't know it. And then the next day, you look down the road 10 years later, and you're like, holy shit, I haven't been sober for one day in 6 years, you know? And you're like, what the fuck happened? No one wants to become an addict. So I understand self-medicating, but you have to be very, very careful because it's a slippery slope. And especially dealing with like sadness. What I found, and here's another thing you have to be careful with. Dealing with sadness, I keep my sadness like in the back of my head, and then I'll turn it into like, I'll make like a conscious decision to turn it into anger. But whenever I turn it to anger, it's whenever I'm in the gym to get like a positive outcome, to have like, to channel that emotion, to acknowledge it, to be fully in it, but to channel it in a positive way. I wouldn't recommend changing your sadness to anger unless you are going to deal with it in a positive way, because that could turn toxic bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, main thing I want to say is be careful with self-medication. I know it's like an easy route, and I understand it 100%. Like I've been in it. I've dealt with substance abuse issues for multiple times in my life. And it's a dead end road that it's not going to bring you what you want.
Yeah. Well, if you do want to reach out to us, our email is tsitrpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to write in, we will keep it anonymous.
For sure.
And if you want to just hit us up in our DMs, if you just want to reach out to one of us specifically, mine is Magic Mijo on all socials.
I recently changed mine from Claybird PDX to It's Claybird. So It's Claybird on Twitter and Instagram.
And it's me, Huggie, on all social platforms.
Boom.
And have a great weekend. We're dropping this
Today.
today, Thursday. And yeah, have a good weekend.
Give me a wrong.
Do you got any shows coming up?
I don't. I'm taking a little break.
Wrong.
Oh, I do. I'm playing out in Miami.
You're but not
That's-
here. But
that's
yeah,
next week.
Yeah, I'm
you got any
trying to-
people?
I'm trying to
listening?
do. I'm writing a record, an album. Trying
Yeah.
to put a lot of things into that. So I'm taking a little break. I have a couple like smaller shows, but they're bigger out here. I'm taking like a little. I played 60 fucking shows this summer, dude. I'm burnt. So
Yeah.
I'm
It's
just.
a lot.
That's a lot.
I'm just trying to do more writing.
Just tap into that space
Yeah.
again.
Because right now it's gonna get shitty out. I don't want to be out in the fucking rain.
Right. That's
True.
another avenue.
Yeah.
Music, creating.
Yeah, that's how I put a lot of my shit into. I mean, I
Yeah.
wrote that song that's the famous song. I don't know if I'm even gonna do anything with that, but it needed to get out. And,
Mm-hmm.
Out of you.
yeah, onto something.
Onto something,
And
yeah.
it's a cool track, but just nothing really coming up, man.
You know anybody in Miami?
Miami.
Or
I know
Miami.
one person. I went to high school with him, and he was like, "Dude, I live like 15 minutes away from that place. I'll see you." at
What's the
show."
venue called?
Dope.
It's called Voltaire. It's
Voltaire.
in West Palm Beach. So it's not quite Miami, but it's almost in Miami.
Voltaire or Voltaire?
Voltaire.
Voltaire?
So if you're in
That'd
Miami,
be dope.
come say what's up. The
Yeah.
20th.
You got anything going on?
I don't have anything going on.
Yeah, you got to film these commercial-free videos, Claybird. Because
Oh yeah, we're about to go film some commercial-free videos. I'm gonna turn myself into a Claybird.
All right. Well, have a great weekend. We love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking with us. And
what's your Venmo, Clay?
oh, he's full time now. He don't need that.
I got health insurance.
Later, guys.